Caitlin Clark has been polarizing sports opinions this last week and a half due to the fact that it's been an ongoing debate, but there's a large disparity between what the top women's uh, drafted player in the WNBA is compared to the top men's drafted WNBA player. When you look at somebody like a Caitlin Clark versus a Victor Wembanyama who went to the Spurs, and you see like
Zero
Wembanyama
comparison.
gets something like 55 million,
Just
and
call it.
Caitlin Clark's getting like 300 and something thousand for
Zero comparison, bro. But okay.
I agree. But you're hearing people talk more and more about, and Jay, we have one of our friends kind of go on social media and say, hey, this is kind of sad, this is embarrassing, like they need to do better, women deserve higher pay, this and that. And I immediately brought up the opinion of, you're comparing apples to oranges, because you're looking at the NBA that's had a 50-year head start on these girls at least, and then you're looking at the amount of revenue that the NBA generates both nationally, internationally, those relationships that have been established, and then you look at attendance and stuff like that. You cannot say, hey, WNBA, you guys generate, and just for the sake of argument, you guys generate, let's say 100 million in revenue between your whole league throughout a 40 game season plus the playoffs. And then you say, we're going to pay you the same as the top NBA guy, and the NBA is generating 10 billion, and you're like, okay, well, we're going to pay you the same. It's not fiscally possible to make that comparison and say, hey, you guys should be paid the same. But some people don't. Some people feel like, well, it should be equal pay because they play the same sport.
No.
What say you guys? Like, where do you stand on that as far as equal pay between men and women in sports?
Let me get this out real quick. And I'm gonna make it very, very simple, easy for anybody to understand. Okay. You go to a men's basketball game. It's played in the Dallas area. We're from Dallas. The Mavericks. You go to the Mavericks, you go to the AAC, it's sold out, right? Damn near every game is sold out. Now, when you go see, what's our women's team? The Wings.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's the Wings. You go see them. You know where they play? Anybody know where they play? Nope. I take it no. Arlington, UTA Stadium, or UTA, the women's basketball in UTA. Okay, they can't even fill that. Not can't come close to filling that. So if you can't fill that, and that's a little bit bigger than Joe, Julio, our hometown, the Palace, what we call the Palace,
like a high school gym.
Yes. So there's no comparison. There's no comparison. I mean, if you want to pay them equally, say goodbye to the WNBA, because it's going to go bankrupt, period.
I mean, bro, you bring up valid points. Like, women need to support women, and that's what's going to move the needle for the WNBA. Mm-hmm. But the more important question is, or not even question, but Caitlin Clark's salary as a first-round draft pick in her first year is going to be $70,000, bro. Like, you can get
like
you can make that without a degree. There are regular working people.
Yeah.
I'll give you a better example. The Walmart managers that we talked about a month ago or 2 months ago are making more than
120
in her first year in the NBA, in the WNBA.
But
So,
how many Walmart managers are also making a multi-million-dollar salary off
bro,
of getting their own shoe?
but you're not making
Because you're
you
making
only
all that
making a
money in
multi-million dollar,
endorsements.
bro. You making a multi-million-dollar salary probably if you're selling shoes.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever said that she's gonna sell a fuck ton of shoes, bro. I
It's
mean, I hope
I'm
she
sure
does,
she's
but
getting
it's
paid X amount right off rip.
it's
She's not
it's
just
the
gonna be like, oh, it's dependent on your shoe sales. It's gonna
no
be like
no
but we
you're a
not,
brand
bro.
ambassador, just like Jordan does. You're a
But
brand ambassador.
what you talking about is like a collections worker working for a bonus. Like that's a bonus. We talking about your salary, your
not only
WNBA salary.
not only that if
Nike
she
don't got shit to do with the WNBA pay regulations, bro,
and if she gets
at
hurt,
all.
all that shit goes out the window.
There you
Shoe,
go.
everything
Getting
So,
goes
hurt doesn't
out the
stop you
window.
from getting your shoe. Look at Zion Williamson. Like look
bro,
at
but why are we talking about
Man, how many people hold on.
extra? We
Hold
talking
on,
about
bro.
salary. That's
Hold on,
extra.
bro. How many people wear Zion Williamson's shoe?
bro. Zion Williamson had like the biggest payout from the Jordan brand, period.
And
And it
payout
don't
don't mean
matter if he
shit.
sold one or a million.
Longevity.
I agree, and he's another guy that didn't
There
take
ain't
care of
people
himself,
walking around
but he's
wearing
still
his
making
shoe,
that
bro.
money. That's what I'm telling you.
Bro,
Is Caitlin Clark's gonna be fine.
y'all talking about bonus compared to salary. The point is salary. The whole fucking point about this whole discussion that's even drawn us to the discussion is her salary. That bonus shit, that's cool. Like obviously, if it was about the money, she could have just fucking
Went
played
to the
in
big
college
three.
because she made $1 million in college
In the
in
NIL, yeah.
NIL money. But the point is that she's making $70,000 from the WNBA. How do you get more money than that? Like you basically getting regular job money at this point.
I mean,
Like
You're also
if you
playing
were just
40
living based
games a
on,
year. Imagine going to work 40 days and getting paid what you get paid in the whole year.
bro, but we talking about a professional athlete.
I'm just saying. And
Like,
here's the other thing, in my opinion, like Bill Burr said it best. Women wanna support women's sports and say, hey, let's get women paid more. Women need to take their behinds and put them in the seats of those stands and get the attendance up and pay that ticket price to generate revenue for the WNBA. Men as
yeah.
well.
Now,
If men
mind
feel
you,
that way,
it need to be asses in seats.
every
yep,
night.
Be sponsorship.
yep.
And I
Hey.
think
So
Caitlin
Now,
Clark's gonna
mind
put
you,
asses in seats because
so with
people
those,
they're
but
fascinated by that.
but at the end of the day, bro, and I mean I hate to say it because it might not mean anything to her, but you know, as a professional athlete making $70,000 a year, bro, as the first round pick, that's embarrassing. Like that's why so many of these women go out and get outside jobs when the season is over. So
I
I've heard
mean,
them say. But
Cube offered her more than that though, and she turned it down. So,
bro, but again, bro, we talking about extras. I'm not
that
like,
wasn't the extra. He offered her millions off top. She chose to go WNBA.
well,
So,
but that's why I said that the thing ain't about the money, and it ain't even about whether or not she should have went somewhere to get more money. The point is that the salaries in this league are not of the caliber of the NBA. So
Maybe they are for that league though. That's what I'm
and
saying. Because the
again, but
WNBA
see, and
ain't
that,
the NBA.
and Joe makes a valid point as far as that goes, because when you think about it and you look at it, again, you can't compare the two. The NBA has history. It has a long, long history. They've been in business for X amount of years, whatever it is, 50 plus years. And the WNBA is still rather new. I mean, it didn't come about until I don't even remember the late 90s, I want to say. Late 90s, early 2000s is when it finally started picking up and actually started going. So just to kind of get, while you guys were talking about it, I mean, just to kind of get an idea of it, I looked at what I consider to be my GOAT. I don't know if it's anybody else's GOAT. I know everybody else has their own GOAT or ideas of who their GOAT is, but Michael Jordan's salary by season, 96, 97, and this is just going from that point moving forward. 96, 97 with the Chicago Bulls, his salary was $30,140 a year. And now do I know that for a fact? It's pulling up on Google. I don't know if that's what it is, but it could be that. Now, mind you, a lot of his, even when you watch the documentary, that Nike documentary when they created the shoe,
Bro,
you know, a lot of it was coming from the sponsorships that he was getting with Gatorade, with McDonald's, with Nike, with everybody. Once he started getting hot, and mind you, that was a team that was basically in the trash when Jordan went there. They weren't the greatest team in the NBA. They weren't selling out all the seats. They weren't, they weren't doing anything really. I think they were even saying in the movie that, their local hockey team was the hottest thing at the time in Chicago. Yeah, but it had to generate. It had to get to a point to where it generated enough money for them to be able to start showing compensation to their players. So in any business, whether it be sports, whether it be whatever it is, you have to be able to have that revenue in order for you to pay your players.
That's why players get paid so much more now than they did in the 90s, 80s, 70s. Why? Because the revenue is different. That's not saying that there's basketball players now that are better than Jordan was or better. Luka gets compared some to Larry Bird. That's not to say he's better than Larry Bird. Maybe he is. We'll find out. But he gets paid a shit ton more than Larry ever did. Why? Mm-hmm. Because the revenue's different. The NBA is a multi-billion-dollar business.
But people also want to see him play. And
that's what I'm saying, bro.
Putting asses in seats matter, just like wrestling.
Yeah, it really matters.
And when y'all say that, the women need to go support them and go to their games and all that, that's all true. But guess what? Guess where all the women are going to watch basketball?
The NBA.
Men's basketball. So, I mean.
But that's what I'm saying, bro. Like everybody want to see a change in these salaries. You got to go support the cause.
That's it.
If you don't support the cause, ain't no change going to happen. And
got to be some action.
I mean, at a point in my life, I was making $75,000 a year on a regular job. And Caitlin Clark, for her first season, is going to make my salary for that year. And in Dallas, if she was in Dallas, that puts you at the low end of
middle the low end. You're the high end of poverty. That's where we are right now at 75.
That's that to me, that's disturbing. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess you get to play your favorite sport and deal with all the political bullshit that come with that sport, but you're getting paid to play it versus not. Like in high school, but again, if it was about the money, she could have stayed in college and milked their ass another year for another meal.
Man, I would have got my money, bro. I'm sorry, but whatever.
But that's what I'm telling you is you stay in college, you run the risk of getting injured, and now the luster is off your shine. Like you don't shine the same.
But what are you signing for? You signing to go make $70,000?
No, you're shining so that you can go sign in the WNBA. You make a change in that league, but you're also getting the opportunity to sign with like a Jordan brand and get your own shoe, dog. You're signing with Nike, getting your own shoe, making millions. Do I want 1 million or do I want multi-millions? And I could just take this little chump change. And I'm sorry to say, but 70,000 might be chump change in sports, but in life, 70,000 is a lot for what people are making these days.
Of course.
So
it's still, live at home with your mama money. So look, bro, I told y'all this a few days ago. I think the players that came out in this draft with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Camila Cardoza. Like there's just been so much buzz around those players, bro, that
The
if there
Final
may
Four,
actually
the
be a
Sweet
change
16, yeah.
with the pay scale,
Yep.
do I think their pay scale should be what the men are making? Absolutely not, because they don't generate that type of money. But do I think that they should be making minimum wage? Hell no. Like,
No.
but again, you have to support the cause. Like you need asses in seats, you need eyes on TV, and you need sponsorships and endorsements.
I can't tell
to
you.
demand that type of money. So
I can't tell you the last time I sat down and watched a WNBA game. Now I've watched an NBA game occasionally. I've never watched a WNBA game.
I mean, I've looked at them in the past, not here lately because there hasn't been any players that I was just like, oh shit, I want to see them. But I like these. I like Caitlin Clark. I like Angel Reese. So I'll be tuned in this year.
Well, you can be our resident WNBA, on the scene reporter. Who might
Boots on
send
the
you to
ground.
UTA. Boots on the ground at
I mean,
UTA, bro.
I'm y'all resident burner account reporter. Y'all welcome.
Well, that's our take, everybody, on women's pay in sports. And you guys can let us know what you think. If you think we're crazy, if you think you agree with us, what's your opinion? We'll be more than happy to listen to that. But moving on to our last topic of the evening.